Hi, I'm Jared, and we're doing on chapter 23 on diseases in literature. So, not all diseases are created equal. Sup, Jay? Sup?
Oh,
How you
whoa,
doing?
I didn't even know you were here. What's up, bro?
What's up, man?
Yo, why you got that whiteboard?
Oh,
What's
so you
on
see,
there,
these
bro?
are the diseases that are in literature. You see, that's heart disease, that's tuberculosis, we got that AIDS and that fever,
Very
you know what I mean?
interesting. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you mean.
So, heart disease is symbolic of bad love. It's really mysterious in origin and picturesque.
Oh.
Hi, I'm back, and I'm going to be talking about heart disease, the best literary device that you could use in literature, and it's because it's symbolic of bad love, suffering, pain, and regret. A good example that was given in the book was A Good Soldier. It talked about how his wife was cheating on him and how she had a bad heart, and this was metaphorically and physically a way of showing that her heart was bad. And that's basically it on heart disease.
Now, there's other literary diseases, like tuberculosis, which is really popular back in the late 1800s to 1900s. Now, tuberculosis is great because, in literature, because it has a lot of symbolism, and it's very picturesque, coughing, and everybody knew what it was during that time because they either had a relative or a family member that died of tuberculosis, and they could all relate to it. That's why the impact was so big when it was introduced to a character in the story. And many works used it, like Portrait of a Lady, The Wing of the Dove, Uncle Tom's Cabin, Magic Mountain, Of Time in the River, Woman in Love, and more. And other diseases like AIDS and HIV is the disease known for this generation because AIDS, although not very picturesque, it's very good for showing the terrible tearing away at life and just slow death. And it's very symbolic for that. And you guys know that a lot of people have AIDS this day, and it used to be mysterious. So the origin used to be mysterious back in the day. So that was what made it a good literary disease. And also fever, which is the most used literary disease, is commonly used to just kill off characters, and authors use it all the time.
It's hard to understand stories from the past. An example of this would be the Greek stories, as their plays were most likely to be violent and brutal, but for the time, considering the time period, it wasn't that bad for them. Another good example of this would be The Merchant from Venice by Shakespeare, which was very anti-Semitic, but he wasn't as anti-Semitic as the people were back then. But you have to get into the perspective and see that it wasn't that bad considering the time period.
As readers, sometimes it's hard to read without a biased view, and we don't step inside the shoes of the protagonist or the writer, and we read with our eyes instead of diving deep into the perspective of the people that wrote it and the characters inside it, and the setting. And that's what chapter 24 really talks about. For example, the author really mentions this short story by James Baldwin called Sonny's Blues. And it's about a guy who can't understand his brother's crazy lifestyle. He's a recovering addict from heroin, and he's also a jazz musician. And so his brother invites him one day to hear him perform. And so his brother goes and he listens to his brother plays jazz music. And he realizes there's something in that music, and they bond over a drink that he gives his brother, which symbolizes the connection they just made. And if you were a psychologist, you would have said that you should never give alcohol to a recovering addict, which is obvious, but in the perspective of the writer and character and the time that they wrote the story in, it makes sense. And we're not focusing on the psychological aspects, we're focusing on a story of a brother. Hey, it's me again, and that was the chapter 23 and 24 crash course. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button, and please give us an A.